Hey guys, today I am back with a brand new video, but with something a little bit different than usual. I recently got a 2016 MacBook Pro mid-tier with AMD Pro 455 graphics, and I wanted to test out the gaming performance on Windows on these new laptops, as Apple was boasting some serious performance gains for the graphics compared to the previous generation MacBook Pros. Over 100% increase in performance. Now, everything Apple Pro has already tested a few games such as Grand Theft Auto 5, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Battlefield 1, so of course I'll be testing a few other popular games such as The Witcher 3 and Doom. Now, before I begin, I'd just like to say that I know the video quality is pretty bad, but I just don't have a professional camera because that's not what my channel is normally about, so I'm not going to drop a couple grand just to make one video. So I had to make do with the Galaxy S6 camera. That's like the best I got, right? I just don't have that good of a camera. So also I turned off the lights because with the lights on the camera just couldn't focus that well, and just overall was pretty bad. But enough rambling, I tested all the games at 1920 by 1200 with VSync off, so basically making sure that I wasn't capped at 30 or 60 FPS, but still with VSync off I couldn't get any more than 60 FPS even on the later games, so there must have been something hidden within the Radeon settings. So it's not with the game. The 60 FPS cap is either just by Boot Camp itself or with the graphics. I'm not too sure, I just can't find the setting. Alright guys, so with that all out of the way, let's get right into the first game, The Witcher 3, which is a RPG game, and you're getting about 40 to 45 FPS with 1920 by 1200 resolution and lowest graphics settings. Now, 40 to 45 FPS, in FPS games that'd be pretty low, you might feel a little bit of lag, but for this game, for RPG games, it's completely fine. I can play 40 to 45 FPS with RPG games. In fact, I actually played Tomb Raider at like 29 FPS, and I thought I was playing at 60 FPS the entire time. I didn't feel any lag. I was like, what the hell? So it just depends on the game. You don't need 60 FPS on every single game, but do keep in mind that this is the lowest graphics setting, so if you want your graphics, then again, if you're buying a MacBook Pro, you're not buying it to game, you're buying it for productivity and video production, photo editing, and that kind of stuff. So of course, if you just want to play some games every here and there, then I assume that you probably won't care too much about the graphics. You're not going to be cranking everything to max, playing on ultra graphics. You're probably decent, you're probably going to be fine with just medium settings, low settings. I'm perfectly fine with low settings. Now for our next game here, we have Cluster Truck, which is sort of like a speedrun game. Basically, of course, it's an FPS game, but there's a bunch of moving cargo trucks, and you're jumping around on the roofs of the cargo trucks, and you want to get to the finish line as fast as possible, but you can't touch the ground, and if you do touch the ground, then you restart the level. It's game over, basically. So of course, this being an FPS game, and of course this being a fast-paced game, it's like a speedrun. You want to speedrun, but I mean, you can play casually if you want. So you're gonna want higher FPS on this game, but FPS, it's no problem. With 1920 by 1200 resolution on a fantastic, well, there isn't really any graphic options, it's just fantastic graphics. Like, you can't really control the graphics really, but you're getting 90 FPS average here, which is not bad at all. You're not going to feel any lag whatsoever, well above 60 FPS. You're not going to get any issues with this. It's gonna run very, very smooth, and of course this game isn't all that graphically demanding, as you can clearly see. It's not like The Witcher 3 or Doom. You're gonna be running this game fine, and if you guys haven't checked this out, then I recommend trying this game. It's pretty fun, and yeah. Now for our next game, here's a game that a lot of people ask me about. This game is called A Story About My Uncle. It's actually called A Story About My Uncle. It's on Steam. It costs like, I don't know, 15 bucks, something like that. It's from the makers of Goat Simulator. So, I mean, it's a pretty fun game. I really, really enjoyed it. So if you guys want to check this out, definitely do. It's a really, really fun game, and I really, really like it. It's really relaxing, and it's basically Spider-Man. Like, you're floating around, you're grappling rocks, and it's really, really fun. But with this game, I'm playing at 1920 by 1200, again with VSync off and high graphic settings. Basically everything is turned up, and I am still getting anywhere between 80 to 110 FPS, which is Again, really nice. You're not gonna feel any lag whatsoever. Like 90 FPS average, you're not gonna feel any lag. But on these, I wouldn't turn up the graphics, because when I tried to turn up the graphics, it was pretty bad. I mean, I cranked it up to max. I think it was like 3200 by like 2400, somewhere around that. I forget the exact resolution, but it was absolutely horrible. I was getting like 24 FPS. It was terrible. So just keep it at 1920 by 1200, crank all the settings up, and you're gonna be absolutely fine. Now for our next game here, we have Warden Melody of the Undergrowth, which is I don't know who came up with this name, but it's weird. It's weird. I'm just gonna call it Warden. This game is an RPG game. It's not that graphically demanding. It does require a bit more graphics power than you would expect. It doesn't really run too well on integrated graphics, to be honest. But with 1920 by 1200 resolution and very high graphics settings, with all of the other options turned on except for VSync, obviously, I was getting around 24 to 30 FPS, which is absolutely horrendous. Like, yeah, I have no idea why this game is running so bad. The graphics setting down from very high to high, then you're gonna get around 40 to 60 FPS. Absolutely, I got no idea what changes. Like, I can't even tell the difference. I didn't really bother checking for the differences, but with high graphic settings, you're gonna be absolutely fine. You're not gonna feel any lag. So just turn it down from very high to high settings, and you're gonna be absolutely golden. This game, it's pretty fun, but there are some glitches. In fact, there are a lot of glitches. I kind of broke this game like completely. It's dead. Like, and guys, lastly, here we have the new Doom. So with 1920 by 1200 graphics, obviously I turn anti-aliasing off, I turn motion blur off, and I made sure to enable Vulkan, which gives AMD graphics card, which is the brand that's used in these MacBook Pros, anywhere between 15 to 20% increase in performance just doing nothing. Like, you literally get anywhere between 15 to 20% increase in performance, which is actually insanity. Like, that's insanity right there. But with 1920 by 1200 resolution, I started off with medium graphics settings, and I got anywhere between 30 to 40 FPS, which, I mean, 30 FPS on a first-person shooter game, especially Doom, it's not the best. But the way Doom handles graphics, if you get anything less than 60 FPS, instead of lagging, it actually slows down the game so that there's no frame skipping. It's really weird, but if you turn down the graphics to absolute lowest settings, 1920 by 1200 resolution, lowest graphics settings, 50% resolution scale, you're gonna get anywhere between the high 60s, low 70s to up to 100 FPS, which is insanity right there. Like, that's insanity. So of course, with these graphics settings, you just play around with it. Doom is absolutely playable. You're gonna get 60 FPS. Make sure to enable Vulkan though. But if you do want 60 FPS smooth, then you're gonna be playing around low to medium settings. Just fiddle around with the settings a little bit. You're playing the new Doom on a MacBook Pro that was never meant for gaming, and you're getting anywhere between 70 to 100 FPS on a new AAA title. That is actually insane. Granted, you're playing at the absolute lowest graphics settings, but again, like I said before, you're not buying a MacBook Pro to game. So if all you want to do is just play games on the side, I doubt that you're gonna care too much about having absolute ultimate graphics settings. I'm pretty sure you're gonna be fine with low to medium settings, because of course, if you want a game, then you're probably going to want to look at the Razer Blade laptop, which is basically a MacBook Pro, except it has mad graphics. Like, it is absolute insane. But yeah, so the new Doom is absolutely playable. You're not gonna have any issues whatsoever. You're gonna be playing 1920 by 1200, low to medium settings. Just fiddle around with the settings. But if you don't care too much and you can live with 1280 by 800 resolution, then of course you can definitely play medium, possibly even high settings, medium to high at 1280 by 800 resolution, and you're still gonna get some decent 60 FPS. But that's gonna conclude it for this video. The results were actually pretty surprising. I'm not too sure why Warden played worse than Doom. It was kind of weird. But that basically concludes this video. If you guys enjoyed it, definitely be sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe for more videos, for more gaming videos. And yeah, that's basically it. I think Doom was like the most surprising. Like, you got anywhere between 70 to 108 FPS. That's actually insane. But yeah, this basically concludes this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright, peace out everybody.